Welcome to Ennis, County Clare. This is my hometown and I have huge love for this place. It's full of history and excitement and music and stories of the past. But best of all, it has some fantastic pubs. We're going to show you some now. So let's go. Now when I come to Ennis, one of my first stops has to be Tom Steele's. It is in the name. Tom was a local lunatic, one of the richest men in the county, and he shaped the history of Ireland. But he's forgotten now. The only thing we remember is that he used to sit on a rock out here on the River Fergus across the road, and he'd fallen in love with this beautiful woman called Matilda Crowe. He would stare out longingly, lovingly at this woman as she stood in front of her window, combing her hair at the same time every day. She, of course, knew he was there and loved winding up the poor man. And he eventually plucked up the courage to ask her to marry him. And what did she say? She said no, of course. And to rub salt in the wound, she went off and married a Scotsman. I'll tell you more about the story, but first, let's get a drink. For God's sake, why don't they open in the morning? Welcome to Cruises. This is one of the oldest buildings in County Clare, Ireland, and a favourite spot for people looking for a bit of food and a bit of drink and some good company. The building was built in 1658 by John Knoxs, and he ran it very successfully. In the later part of the 1600s, there was actually a bylaw that meant that you were able to evade your debts if you resided here in the building. But I don't know if that would work anymore. Thankfully, it's been a public house since 1993, and we have been spoiled with the great atmosphere, the great camaraderie, and the great Guinness. But where's mine? Let's go. Let's talk about Knoxs. This is a fantastic pub, one of the oldest pubs in County Clare. It was established as a business in 1860s, and the name at the front, Alexander Knoxs, well, the sign is there since 1902. His name was put up there when he took over ownership, and it was in the Knoxs family for decades. They were a great family for local hurling and golf, great supporters of local business as well, because in the 20th century they built one of the bridges into Ennis called Knox's Bridge to improve business relations between the town of Tulla and Ennis. So they were giving back into the community. Sadly, Alexander was killed riding his bike to work in the 1930s. So I guess, guys, make sure to not have too many pints before you ride. For God's sakes, when am I going to find a pint? Now, I couldn't come to Ennis and not stop in to Falls Pub because of this beautiful little secret. It's the Snug, one of my favourite little features of pubs in Ireland, and there's very few of them left. This is a place that the women could come if they wanted a quiet chat, and they didn't want the men driving them mad, as you know they would. So when the men were getting too rowdy inside, the women be here having reasonable conversation, having the wine, having the beer, having the gin and tonic, and when it was time for another round, you couldn't have to look at the men inside. All you had to do was give a little knock on the glass.
Oh no, not you again, come on. I'll fight you now there.
The search continues. Now we're going to finish up at ODs. What a place to visit. It is like stepping into somebody's home because everybody who comes through the door is family. It started out as a grocer's with only a small little section at the back for the pub, but it grew and grew and grew as the community formed around this place. What an area to finish up on, and great art made by the owner of the pub. Now, will I be lucky? Will I finally get a pint in town? Look at this. Look at this. I hope you enjoyed, guys, and slán go forward. So there you have it, guys. What a pint of Guinness. And This pub has been licensed since 1847. That is Black 47, the worst year of the Irish famine. So you can see that businesses are around that long, that look at the change in Irish society, look at all the positives. We've been able to sample some of the best experiences in town, some of the music, some of the crack, some of the conversations off camera. So if you're coming down to the town, or if you're in town and you're looking for something to do, come down, say hello, get a pint, get a bit of food, tell a story to us, share your experiences, and we'll be sure to tell you our stories too. Slán go fóill.